Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good. How are you?
Good. Okay, so you can kind of see in this area here where
Pretty.
the yeah, it was like puddled up, but I shut the water off last
Uh-huh.
night.
Can you raise the
Um,
camera up a little bit so I can see that pipe? Is that
so
going up
that
to the irrigation controller, right? Okay.
that irrigation controller,
How old is
and
this house?
it was 13 years.
Okay.
So on the outside here, because this is the street's up here, we're on this slope, and I also noticed last night. So right here is where it was.
It's really wet.
Yeah, it was wet.
Which side of the property is the water meter on? Is the water meter on that side of the house?
Yes, so it's up here by the mailbox.
Okay.
Yeah, and
When you have the water on, does that hose faucet work properly or does it have a loss of pressure?
it worked.
So go look inside of your water heater closet real quick. I'm seeing if there's a valve up there for you to turn off. So go up to the top.
Yeah, there. Oh,
Yeah, there's a valve. Okay, so one way we can look and try to identify which side of the water system is leaking is if you turn that water on to the house, right? And then shut that valve off right there. That eliminates the cold water from pushing water through the water heater, right?
okay.
So that would tell us if that leak is a hot water leak, and maybe it's traveling between the concrete and the poly. The poly is the black plastic under the concrete that separates the dirt from the bottom of the concrete. It's like a moisture barrier.
Right.
And sometimes you'll have a leak on one side, and it'll actually kind of travel through, between the poly and the concrete. Sometimes the dirt settles and then there's a gap there. And
Okay.
so sometimes it'll show water will show on one place and actually be leaking from another. So what I would really suggest, if we're trying to diagnose from this video, is to turn the water meter back on.
Okay.
And then go back into the water heater closet and let's turn the water heater off. Like the
Okay.
valve.
I just turned that valve off right now.
Okay.
But yeah, last night there was a hive of bees in here that I had to kill too. It was fun.
Oh wow.
All right, so that's on now.
Okay, let's go check out back in that water heater closet. Let's turn off that water heater valve.
Yeah, I already got that turned off.
Okay, and then let's go back out to the water meter and see what's happening. Let's look at the, see if there's water still leaking. We're gonna look at the meter itself and watch if it's spinning. I think that was a digital meter, so you'll have to wait for a second and see the numbers kind of click.
Okay.
And that's going to kind of give us an idea if it's on the hot water side or on the cold water side. It doesn't look like it's moving right now.
Right, it doesn't.
So now let's go turn the valve back on to the hot water heater.
Okay.
And this is just, trying to see if you might be right. It might be a hot water line that's leaking over there by the water heater and coming back that way.
Yeah. Okay.
It's not a very bad leak.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the water heater for a minute. And let's see where what we need to do is look on the side of the house over there by that hose bib again and see if the water heater pop off and drain pan line doesn't come out of the floor somewhere over there on the side of the house.
Drain pan's here.
Yeah,
This pipe.
And it's all dry, right? The pan's dry, and
yeah. The pan's completely dry.
and there was no. Did you notice any excessive water heating before this? Like the water got
No, actually, hot? My wife had been talking about turning the water heater up because it wasn't very hot.
Do you notice any water bubbling up yet anywhere?
Yeah.
It does see it wet.
Yeah, right there.
Oh wow. Feel the temperature of that water.
So that's cold.
I think that there's a problem with that hose faucet over there.
Okay.
Either where it's popping up into that concrete little step up, that's the drop for the garage. Either it's broken in there, and it may even stub up it. Wait, let me look at that again. Go down. Yeah, that's below the wall.
Here, it's below the wall. It's coming in right here,
and it's flowing down. Okay.
Yeah.
So what we probably need to do is go turn the water back off so you don't flood the whole house. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I've got this book right here. It's our pricing manual. Can you see it? It's got all the prices in it to do this type of work, like to break up some concrete and, identify a couple of things. I'm going to give you an idea of what we're looking at to come over there and fix that.
Okay.
It shouldn't take but a few minutes. So what I'm thinking is that we need to jackhammer a hole there. And carefully so that we don't damage any more of the line. And when we jackhammer in the concrete, we tend to be very careful. So it's kind of a slower process right there because in that age range of your home, they use post-tension cables and or a rebar, steel in the slab. If they use post-tension cables, we want to be careful not to hit that cable and potentially break it because it's under tension and they pop. So we don't want to come in there and start saw cutting, your floor. We can score it like an inch down, but even then we're getting close because you got 4 inches of concrete floor, and in the middle of that is supposed to be that cable.
Right.
So really we only have, that's if those guys that put those cables in were perfect, right?
Right.
So we don't like to come in and start cutting on the floor without x-raying and laying out these cables. But if we come in and chip carefully and take a little bit more time, it just is not as pretty. And then what we can do is after we chip a little bit and get down there and we identify if we're by a cable or not, then we can score the edge of the, our hole so that when the concrete pours back in, it doesn't look like a big old puddle was just poured. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I got you.
It's just kind of the way I've learned, it's kind of safer that way. So it's looking like jackhammer a 2x2 area, and pour back and then replace a section of pipe. And what we determine, we don't know what type of pipe is in your floor right now, obviously, right?
Right.
It's more than likely either going to be copper or PEX. Those are our two options. If it's copper, what we do is cut out a section of pipe and then we silver solder 2 couplings and a new piece of pipe in there. Or we go from there and then kind of eliminate that whole piece over to where it goes and pop up with a new piece of PEX. Same thing, we use a brass adapter and then the ring that holds the PEX to it, but it's still silver soldered in there. There's still a chance that we might have to do a little more exploring when we get there. This is just kind of an idea. You know what I mean?
Right.
At this point, we've identified it's not on the hot water side. It's part of the cold water system. We know where it is. We know what we kind of got to do to fix it. But I'm leaning towards that hose bib where it's popping up into that little spot. A lot of times when it's copper, it's rubbing on the steel that's in there. There's like a break beam on the edge of your house in the foundation.
Right.
And a lot of times the plumber puts his pipe in first, and then the steel guy lays the steel over top of it, and it smashes a little spot there. And then as the water is already inherently hard and got calcium and lime in it. It
Yeah.
kind of acts as sandpaper right there.
Right, right.
So
Okay.
we could probably fix that like Monday a little after lunch.
Okay, yeah, let's go ahead and just set that up for you to come out then.
Hey, Dustin and Lindy, thank you so much for using Video Chat Pro to communicate with Can Do Plumbing today, and I look forward to seeing you guys on Monday.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Bye-bye.